Welcome to the New York State Two-Cylinder Expo Association's Expo V. My name is John Jensen. I'm the chairman of the Expo Association, and we'd like to welcome everyone to this year's show. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about the Expo Association and how it's made up. Basically, it's made up of 4 member clubs in the Upstate New York area. They are the Finger Lakes Two-Cylinder Club, the Western New York Two-Cylinder Club, the Central New York Two-Cylinder Club, and the Southern Tier Two-Cylinder Club. This year we have approximately 800 exhibits on the grounds and about 80 vendors. You can find that much needed part at our vendors, and there's virtually at least one of every model and make of tractor John Deere ever made somewhere on the grounds, not to mention all of the implements, tools, and other memorabilia that John Deere made over the years, particularly from the two-cylinder era. So I hope everyone enjoys the show and has a great day.
Over 10,000 spectators enjoyed Expo V, which was held July 13th through 15th, 2001 in Canandaigua, New York. The featured tractor, the John Deere L family, was well represented with 136 on display. There were 7 Model 62s, 18 LIs, 49 LAs, and 62 Ls. The show was dedicated to Kenneth Unger. Ken, who is 90 years old and a charter member of the Western New York Two-Cylinder Club, has been collecting John Deere tractors and equipment for 25 years.
Well, I feel great that they've dedicated this show to me. Although I helped them get started, that was just, one of these things that I wanted to see take off. And John Jensen and his helpers have done a terrific job of promoting the world's largest John Deere antique tractor show. I collect the John Deere L Series tractors, equipment and memorabilia. I have 19 of these little tractors, all with serial numbers.
Chuck Boleyn, me and my wife Laura, we came up here from south of Washington, Pennsylvania. Brought this little H. It was my granddad's and the baler, and of course a gator for us old men to ride around on. But anyway, this was my granddad's tractor. He bought it new in 1941. I got it back and restored it. Put a lot of hours in on this tractor. I had the original sales slip at home. I spent more money on the tires and the paint job, and Granddad paid for the tractor. But it's been in the it got away from us, and then I got it back several years ago. And it's kind of a dear to my heart, put it that way. Cost around $800. Around $800 with the cultivators and the plow and everything. And it was complete. There was 3 of these tractors came into the one dealer. Granddad took the one that had the hydraulic, the starter, and the lights on. One neighbor, he wanted one without the hydraulic. It cost $35 then, but he didn't want to spend that kind of money. And the other fellow took, the other old neighbor, he took one, but they made him take the lights off. They cost $6, and he didn't want to pay for the lights because he said he didn't run the horses after dark, so he didn't need lights on the tractor. So there's a little bit of history to this tractor, that's all. John Deere, there's an old farmer, I understand, out in the Midwest designed this baler back in the late 30s, early 40s. They couldn't bring it out because the war was on. They brought it out right after the war. It has a unique design. The bales go straight into the chamber and come out the side. All the other pickup balers later on, why they fed in the side and went across, and the bales come out the back. This was the only wire tie baler at the time. They had a time selling the farmer on a twine tie, but they finally did, and Deere more or less continued the wire bales and went with the 14T, which you'll see later on. Thank you.
I just wanted to show you my 14T baler. It's hooked behind my 1953 Model 60. This is the successor to the Model 116W baler that you just saw. This was, in some people's opinion, quite an improvement. The major difference in the two is this one ejects the bales out the back, where the 116 pushes them out the side. This is the knotters. As the hay is pushed through from the plunger, flywheel turns the plunger, pushes the plunger, the bales come up through the chute, the twine comes up through here, and as that comes up through, these needles come up through the bales, feed this twine up into the knotters tie the knot, and the string is already there to start the next bale, and it just keeps pushing itself back and back and back, and then eventually comes out the chute back here, like out through there. When I trip this, the needles come up through, feed the string up into the bill hooks. The bill hooks grab the twine, tie the knot, it comes up through the cutters, it cuts the twine off, and then it starts a new bale all over again. And the finished bale just keeps on coming out the chute, headed for the wagon or onto the ground. I'm going to trip this, and you'll see that mechanism move.
I'm Bob Warner of Montrose, Pennsylvania, and this is a 1935 AW hand start John Deere tractor, one of 8 built in 1935, the first year of production, and we're going to show you how to start it. We open the compression release, turn the gas on, open the other compression release, set the throttle, turn the choke, and you grab a hold of this flywheel. Hope it starts.
Hi, my name's Deb Warren. I'm from Penn Yan, New York, and this is a Model M electric start, and we're going to go through the process of how to start an electric start, which is one of the easiest ones there is that John Deere has made. Yeah, somebody run the battery dead.
I'm Jack Timon from Stanley, New York, and we bought the tractor in '91 in Idaho and had it hauled back, and we spent about 5 or 6 years restoring it. And it's one of 99 made. They were all west of the Mississippi when they were sold new. Now we start it now.
Sure.
And this is a typical pony start tractor. This particular one is a Model 80. You have to decompression the big motor, engage the pony motor into the flywheel, cranks the motor over, give it compression back, and it starts the tractor up.
And to start the Waterloo Boy, you have to turn on the gas, open the carburetor, release the compression release, turn them. You have to advance the spark, and with everything all being good, it'll start once you turn it over with the crank. Actually, put a little fuel in these to the measured bit. Sort of like baking a cake. If this all works, then you flip the spark advance, which is right here. The gas is on, and the gas is on. Ahead. Always pull back on the crank so it doesn't throw you.
Barrel roll is always an exciting part of the tractor games. The object is to be the fastest one to roll the barrel from one end to the other without going outside of the lines. This is the slow race. The object here is to be the slowest person to the other end of the line. It takes a well-tuned engine that idles real slow.
Hi, this is Charles English from Evansville, Indiana, and the picture is the 1937 Gold Leaf D. John Deere. It was built to commemorate the 100th anniversary of John Deere making his first plow in 1837. It was used by John Deere to show off and celebrate their anniversary, and then the local dealer in Kingfisher, Oklahoma received it because he had sold more John Deeres than anybody the year before. After he showed it for about 6 months, then it was sold to a local farmer by the name of Hancock in Kingfisher, Oklahoma County, and he drove it until 1955. In 1955, Mr. Hancock traded it in to a Massey Harris dealer, and the Massey Harris dealer repainted it green because he didn't know why it was gold. But behind the fenders, under the fuel tank, and a few other places, he never got the gold covered good. So when I found the tractor, it was in pretty decrepit, wore out state. but there were still some shades of gold in some hidden places on it. The tractor should have never been restored. It was in too bad mechanical condition, but since I knew it was the only Gold D built, I proceeded to restore it. After a total of 425 hours restoration, the first show we hit with it, the big show, was in Fairview, Oklahoma in the year 2000. At one time on a Saturday afternoon out there were 34 people around the tractor who were descendants of the original dealer, Josiah Gooden, or descendants of the Beaker family who owned the tractor from 55 until 1997 when I purchased it. The way I went about finding this tractor, I ever heard of it, the 16th scale D toy in the glass box that was photo made early was built by Lyle Dingman in Iowa. And Lyle had that tractor at a 1990 St. Louis Toy Show. And that's the first I'd ever heard of the Gold D. And after that, he showed me an article of the history of it. So I started pursuing trying to find the Gold D. And after looking for it for 2 years, Mr. Gooden, who's the grandson of the original dealer, helped me find it. And it was sitting in a barn in Kingfisher County, Oklahoma. So it was in October '97 when I went out and got it and brought it home. It took me 7 years negotiating with the Beaker family to finally get it bought. As far as we know, it's the only Gold John Deere built out of approximately 3.5 million two-cylinder John Deeres, but we're quite confident it's the only Gold one of any kind. A lot of times I go to shows, I get answered so many questions, I get hoarse of talking, so I made this list up here of the 10 most common asked questions. Do you ever start the tractor? I've never started the tractor since I rebuilt it. That paint job cost $4,000, and I didn't want to mess up the paint job. But that tractor will be 65 years old December the 23rd of 2001. I intend to start it on his 65th birthday. The rather interesting part of history is the tractor is exactly 2 days younger than I am. So I guess I could be 2 days older than it, but anyhow, we're about the same age. What color is the paint on the tractor? The paint is 1998 Cadillac Sport Gold Metallic. It's a Martin Senor paint sold by Napa. It's code number 63. I used that code because when we cleaned under the drawbar, there was some original paint that was gold. There was, if you go to these hobby stores, you can buy a paint called gold leaf. And the gold leaf in these little bottles and the gold on the drawbar matched. So then I went to the paint store and started going through about 100 different gold paint codes and found that the code 63, the 98 GM or Cadillac, is the closest to the original gold leaf paint I could find. The question is, where did I get the tires? The front tires were bought from Harlan Wilson in Ohio. The back tires were also bought from him. The front ones are original pattern Firestone, just like we're on it. The original back ones, you can't get exact pattern, but those Goodriches are as close as possible. I guess the dumbest question I'm generally asked is, what's it worth? I have no idea what's it worth. I've never had anybody really wanting to buy it, so I haven't figured out what it's worth.
This year's Expo featured 3 guest speakers. Greg Stephen, a regular contributor to Green Magazine with his article, What's New and Old. Albert Ulrich with Renaissance Tractor, who gave a seminar on the repair and operation of 2-cylinder diesel tractors. And Mr. Thinker himself, J.R. Hobbs, who took some time after the seminar to point out some tractors that he thought were especially interesting.
Hi, I'm J.R. Hobbs. I'm the technical editor of Green Magazine, and we're here today to show you some of the unique features about this tractor, which is a Model P. The P was an adaptation of the GP wide tread, especially made for potato culture. And in potato culture in those days they used 34-inch rows, so the rear tread of this tractor is 68 inches. Now this is one of the second build tractors. There were 2 builds of the P made in 1930. This particular tractor is the second build, and it was converted from a GP standard tractor rather than built new, because the factory had a lot of tractors in inventory due to the economic troubles and the depression. Some of the unique features of the C are, as I stated before, the 68-inch rear tread. The wheels are punched instead of for 24 lugs as regular tractors are. They're punched as regular GP wide tread are. They're punched for 16 lugs. Now this tractor has what we call the meadow lugs on it, so it doesn't tear up the ground as much. But in actual use, would have had a lug on it about this tall, about a 4 or 5 inch lug. These tractors were sold primarily in the potato growing areas of Maine and in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, New York. A few went to Canada, a couple to New Jersey, as I recall. And they are only 203 or so of these were built. And they're one of the rarest John Deere tractors in existence. This is another unique tractor we can talk about. This particular tractor is a John Deere 730 high crop with a gasoline engine. Only 6 of these models with the gasoline engine were built. This particular tractor happens to be the last one. It was shipped to Neshannock Station, New Jersey. As you can see, these tractors have a lot of clearance, and most of these tractors were used with sugarcane, to grow sugarcane and or vegetables, where a lot of underneath clearance was required. These are very highly sought after tractors. I wouldn't venture to guess what this one is worth, but probably well over $50,000. Now most people, if you ask them if John Deere ever built tractors painted red, would say no, but that's not entirely true. This particular tractor is a John Deere 420 Industrial, one of the 89 tractors of this type that was built in 1958. And as you can see, it is very, very red. But the Dubuque factory, where these tractors were built, were more than willing to paint a tractor in any color that the customer desired. And there are noted instances, as with this tractor and several others, where they did indeed paint a tractor red.
Here's a tractor that sat in my barn for about 1.5 years one time. This is Susan Kiernan from Upstate New York, and this is the tractor that she won at as the raffle tractor at Expo 4 2 years ago. Her and her husband restored it and brought it back to the show this year. Thank you very much, Susan. This is a 41H owned by Ron and Kay Mead from Pleasant Hill, Ohio. Brought it all the way out here. Thank you very much for coming. Come on, Lee, tell us about it.
Good job.
It's a 1960 330 Standard, built December 12, 1959. It's owned by Lee Robichaud from Ashtabula, Ohio. I think you've been to every expo. Lee's a very good supporter of ours. He's been to all 5 expos. Thanks very much, Lee.
Here's a 1927 V, owned by Edward Allen, Lafayette, New York. Nice original tractor. Thanks for bringing it.
Name is Bill Graves. I own the Ireland Shingle Mill, and these are the blocks here that we put into the mill to make the shingles, and it's an automatic mill, so it makes the thick and on top one time when the block goes by the saw, and then the next time when it passes, the thick will be on the bottom and the thin will be on the top. And then we got the edger wheel there, which you had trimmed the edges of the shingle to take the bark and the unevenness off. And then we got a bundler there, which you put them in the bundler, and you put 20 courses in the bundler, and then it has a lever that you can lock them down and put the band on them, and then it takes 4 bundles laying 4 inches to the weather to make 1 square, 100 square feet of shingles.
Like the Shingle Mill, the sawmill and edger demonstrated here are also powered by John Deere.
Enhanced class of the Expo tractor pull, which is these tractors are not farm stock. They've been beefed up to pull this class, and the weights that are on the ground around me are for the heavier weights of the tractor pull. And what we're going to try to explain to you briefly is what happens when you do a tractor pull. There's a weight on the back of the sled that moves forward as the tractor goes down the track, and the further forward that the weight becomes, the more pressure on the ground is applied, and eventually, if there's enough weight in the sled, it will eventually stop the tractor.
"114 tractors participated in the tractor pull. Friday's enhanced class featured 5 classes with 35 hooks. Saturday's pure stock class featured 7 classes with 79 hooks.
Okay. Pull going. You might do it. My God, I think he's going to do it. Pull, pull.
I'm Eric Thompson from Waterloo, New York. This is a 1931 Big Board GP. This was built January 8, 1931. It was shipped to Syracuse, New York on the same day. It was later sold by Melvin Equipment in Baldwinsville. The serial number is 223803. This is the first production Big Board tractor off the line. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome everybody here. Thanks for coming. It's a 1951M. The restoration is done by my husband and myself. He does the paintwork, I do the body work, and the mechanical is kind of shared by both of us. Thanks.
My name is Brenda Duksa, and this is a 1935 GPO owned and restored by my family in Copiague, New York.
Claire Smith, Columbus, Indiana. This is a 1939L with an LA2 plow. I restored it and my wife owns it. Thank you.
I'm Martha Smith. This is a 1958 420S. It's owned and restored by my husband, Claire Smith. We're from Columbus, Indiana.
Hi, my name is Jacob Moose. This is a 1940 John Deere H, restored in Rush, New York by me and my grandfather.
Good morning. Real nice show. Thank you very much. This is a 42 HWH out of California. Real nice original tractor, and no, I'm not going to paint it. Thank you.
This is a 1958 430W. When my husband bought this a couple of years ago, it was a real piece of junk. So my son John restored it for me, and I'm very proud of it. Thank you.
This John Deere BW, which is wide front, which is quite rare, belongs to Bill Downs from Southampton, Long Island.
Dynamometer demonstrations were once again hosted by Bernie Wimmer and were very well attended.
It's a dynamometer, measures horsepower by RPMs. And we got a John Deere B backing up here right now. It's going to hook up here and we'll see how much horsepower he's got. Got the tractor hooked up. Sounds all right. Yeah, open her up. We run the RPMs up to 535. Right now the engine's running at 650. As we turn this handle down, we bring the PTO speed down to 545. We can draw them right down so they can tune them. This tractor's putting out 29 horsepower, and it's about average for a John Deere B. If you're all alone and you want to tune the tractor by yourself, you can lift this door out, walk right around to your tractor with this long hose and adjust your carburetor or your timing. This hose is about 18 foot long, so you got plenty of hose.
Okay, this is the Kiddie tractor pull. It's Dale Morris owns the tractor and the sled. What we do is we take the age groups, like we were starting with the 4 to 6 year old group. They will go up and pull it with the farthest distance, just like a regular tractor pull. But it gets to be quite fun watching the little kids go and see their determination.
I've got my friend here all the way from South Africa, Royden King. Him and his lovely wife Lynn came 9,000 miles to see us. What do you think of the show, Royden?
It's mind-boggling, John. We don't have anything like this in South Africa. As far as vintage tractors, we all gather together, whether you're red, blue or green. But I will say to you, the green dominates in South Africa. We have friends met through the green machines. We met friends from Whitney Point, the Bill and Marcia Stevens. They invited us over here about 5 years ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't make your show because of date changes, and they've been at us to come back again, and this is why we are here, and we're thoroughly enjoying ourselves, and we'll sure take the message back to South Africa.
Well, that's great. I really appreciate you coming all that way.
My name's Bart Cushing. This is my son Ezra Cushing. We're from Gilsum, New Hampshire, and this is our third time we've been to Expo. They've done a great job, made everybody feel real comfortable. We've brought some older GP tractors, and it's just been great. The parts is super. You can find parts here. We've looked for years for some of the parts that we've got. They've done a great job. What do you think, Ezra? What do you think? All right?
Good afternoon. I'm Roger Cloutier from Gorham, New Hampshire. This is my first time here at the Expo, and it's been just awesome. Everyone's been friendly and helpful, and it just went off like clockwork. I can't believe it, and I'm just waiting to come back.
Hi, I'm Betty Means. I have the Quilt Shop of Webster, and I was invited here today to talk to people and demonstrate the art of quilt making. The committee decided that they would like to make this a more family-oriented show, so we're trying to offer things for everyone. And I teach quilt making to women, children, and men. So come and visit us.
Sir, would you like to say a few words? I guess he's camera shy.
My name is John Kelver. This is a 1936 B I got from a hunting camp and restored it.
I'm Tim Borchline, and I'm driving a 1941 John Deere B. It was restored about 2 years ago, and we usually drive it in parades around town.
I'm Bob Price with Waterloo, New York. This is John Deere L, 1945. I restored it about 4 years ago.
My name is Ray Benchak. We're from Cambria County, Pennsylvania. I'm the second owner of this Model A, 1951. It's an extremely low hour tractor. Nothing's ever been a part on it. It still has the original rear tires on it. It came from the factory.
Hi, I'm Dave West from Russellville, Ohio. It's a 1956 Model 80.
Scott Crosby from Copic, New York. 59 530 LT. Very low production tractor, and it might even be the only one here at the Expo. Thank you.
Stanley Gardner from Nether, New York. John Deere B, it's a late 46. This tractor was worn out, kind of a junkyard tractor. And what you see is the end of a 4-year restoration.
bought tickets on, hopefully. Reach way down in, shake your hand around, and pull out one ticket, please. Beth Freeman, Welch Road, Geneva, New York. Well, that's it for Expo 5. We hope you all enjoyed it, and we hope you'll all be back for Expo 6. The dates are July 10th, 11th, and 12th, 2003, back here in Canandaigua, New York, where the feature tractor is the Model R.